stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin. Welcome back to the English Defense League radio show with the host Jeff Spider Mitchell.
Well,
Jeff, your comments.
Now, yeah, I was going to say, Dave, you know, I think everybody's listened to the situation where Tommy's concerned. It is disgusting that Tommy's being put in a position, same as his children, for goodness sake. It just goes to show you how dark and evil these people really are, doesn't it? You know, the cabal and everybody is, you know, the Muslim Brotherhood. Let's call them out what they are. We know who you are. We know what you're trying to do. You're trying to destroy a young man who outs people like you, who speaks the truth, who tells the stories of what's going on, and it's people like you and a part of your Muslim Brotherhood, because I know that's what it is, and you can call me what you like. We all know what's going on. We're not stupid. We've been around the block a long time, and you've been trying to do this to Tommy and you and your establishment, your elitist friends out there. We know they are. Have all been trying to do the same, trying to shut Tommy up, trying to make him apologise for things. Why should he? He'll fight all the way because he don't know any other way to do it. And I think the nation, the people, I think the world of Tommy, and so does millions of other people across the globe. They know what Tommy stands for. We all stand for. It's a righteous cause that Tommy's always stood for. And whether people like him or loathe him, Tommy is a top man, a good man. And I would stand next to Tommy and go with Tommy wherever he went, because he's a top man, a great patriot, and a leader of people. I just wanted to just say that, Dave. It's always nice to let our listeners know what is actually going on in this country of ours. Yes, we've got other issues that's enveloping the situation in our country, but these things go unabated. These things that we've talked about, and they try to cover it up and use that as a smokescreen to cover up what actually is going on. Yes, we know there's a serious situation. We know what's going on. But, you know, these are things that we're never going to sweep under the carpet. Nor is Tommy, because we all know what Tommy's like. He'll fight the good fight like he always has done. And with that, Dave, let me pass it back to you, brother, because it has to be said, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, guys, those of you who are wondering why we're not devoting our whole show to the Wuhan virus, look, there are other news events going on, like, for instance, our one of our American bases in Iraq has been attacked again by Iranian extremists, and at least one of our soldiers severely wounded. We had another attack where a British medical officer was taken out. These are serious things
not just
that are going on.
But two of your wonderful military as well. Two of your great guys was taken
Two of
out.
our guys too. Yeah, two of our guys too were killed as well. These are major news stories, guys, and there's a lot of evil that can be swept under the rug, under the cover of this Wuhan virus panic that's going on now. That's being, frankly, the flames are being fanned by the left, and that's happened since the beginning. Okay, but we're going to talk about those other stories. Well, yes, we'll talk about the Wuhan virus as well, but we'll talk about those other stories too. And it's important not to miss talking about this story surrounding Tommy Robinson, because this could be any of you. This could be any of you in the UK. Yeah. This could be any of us in the United States. Guys, just look up Dinesh D'Souza and what happened to him in California, okay? All you have to do is look that one up. And there are other cases, too, in the States. Not as severe, of course, as what's happened to Tommy Robinson in the UK, but believe that it is migrating to the United States and to other people than Tommy Robinson. I mean, look at Ivy Yemeni. That's another one in Australia, right? These things cannot be ignored and fail to be discussed because of the Wuhan virus thing. Now, guys, well, on this issue, Jeff, I just want to say it's pretty obvious if parents of these other children are willing to come forward and talk about how this little Syrian puke was threatening young non-Muslim girls, all right, in school, then he had issues and he needed to be, in a sense, restrained and warned off of doing that some more. He is the one that has the issues, and it's not defamation to say that, especially when you have proof and at least one very brave young girl who is prepared to testify to that fact. Okay, so, Tommy Robinson, man, I'm wishing you Godspeed. I know you're not a religious man, but hey, that's all right. I'm still wishing you the protection of Jesus on this one. And we are going to talk about this. Now, Jeff, you sent me a support audio for this that's about close to a minute and a half long. And if you want to check the chat to see if anybody's in, I'll prep to play this.
Give me a second, Dave. Let me just go there.
All right.
It's so quiet this evening. This is 2 days it's been rather quiet. I know there's a lot going on, Dave, but we normally see a few people in our chat, don't we? Anyway, back to you, mate.
All right. Well, guys, don't worry. If you want to come into the chat, we'll have hand sanitizer in there. And hey, for the first. I was going to say, for the first 10 people that come into our chat, they get a free 12-pack of toilet paper. Okay, so there you go, guys. You can't beat that.
Can we handle that? That'd be a mad rush. You bust their doors down, mate.
Well, okay. Now, let me emphasize that is a joke. Yeah. Let me emphasize that is a joke. That is not real. We don't need anybody suing us because we promised them toilet paper. Okay. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and play this audio here. This
all down
is
to you,
about.
I'll get these doors crashing. It's down to you. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries, man. Okay, guys, this is about a minute and a half long. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show. Here we go. This is concerning April the 2nd. Here we go.
On the 2nd of April, Tommy Robinson is being taken to court by Bedfordshire police for defending his own daughter against a paedophile. The police are well known for doing the wrong thing time and time again. On the 2nd of April, people must stand with him once again, not just for him, but for his daughter.
Giving a massive warning to the British government right now. We have had enough, and we're going to fight this corruption. They did not want Tommy Robinson picking into the corruption within the media, corruption within the government, corruption within the police, corruption within the social services, and allowing our young girls being gang raped up and down of our country, and they're not doing anything about it. Let's get our country back.
You can love him or you can hate him, but he tells the truth. As British citizens, we have the right to say enough is enough.
Politicians in Parliament are committing worse crimes. Why have you not arrested them? This is corruption at the highest level.
And welcome back. Jeff, what do you think about that, brother?
I know, Dave. Yeah, as I say, it's so wrong that you defend what's right. and you are persecuted and prosecuted by the establishment elite because Tommy frightens the crap out of them. And if you talk about people draining the swamp, that's the reason why Tommy is attacked as he is. In their eyes, he's the enemy of the state, and that's by his book. Basically, they've classed him as that, and as I say, the book's I'll tell you what, if you want to go and buy his book, guys, buy his book. If you want help him with any court costs and things like that, just buy his book. I'll tell you what, that book is really, really good. So, all power to the book, and for you great listeners and you great patriots out there. It'll be a book that you'll pick it up and you'll read it again and again. And, maybe a few years from now, when things have died down and you'll be able to pick it up, and it'll be that time, the time that we live in an historical context. So that's what I'd say. If you haven't got it yet and you want to, I think it's on Amazon. I'm sure it is, Dave, isn't it? Check it out, guys, because it is a great read. He had another book out there, The Work is of a Harmless Act, but they took that off the shelves. But just to let you know, he's got two books out there together. So, but anyway, I wanted to say that, so because I know this lays a heavy burden on Tommy's finances, and it's all this about Tommy's got this and got. It's not nothing to do with that. It's people want to help Tommy and his family and help the cause, and of course, people donate. So that's what I'm saying. Donate, buy Tommy's book. It's well worth it. There you go, Dave. Back to you, brother.
All right, and Jeff, the other book you're talking about is Muhammad's Quran. That's now you can't find that on Amazon. They took that off. You can find Mein Kampf on Amazon, but you can't find Tommy Robinson's book Muhammad's Quran. Yeah, go fig. But guys, now that last audio, if you want to share it out, came off of YouTube. It is called Tommy versus Bedfordshire Police on April 2nd. And the story that we did before came off of tr.news. A good place to go and look for updates on all of this stuff. Okay, and that story is called Exclusive Update, Lawfare Conducted by Slippery Snakes, which kind of gives you guys an idea of what gave me the idea for the theme of this show. So there you go, guys.
Dave,
yeah.
I meant to say this, Dave. As I always say, Dave puts a lot of work into the slides, and he does the scripts, things he doesn't. And every time I look at it, I will say to you, great, Dave, that was brilliant. It's awesome. And once again, Dave, thank you for all the great work you do towards this show. God bless you, brother, for all you do.
Well, I give it to God, and it's a labor of love to to get the truth out there, Jeff, and it's also kind of fun making up the memes and everything that I do. But
I know
at any rate,
definite, guys. I know, Dave. He's brilliant. Back to you. Sorry, mate. I just want to say that.
Oh, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, anything I do that people appreciate, I just give that to God. But guys, one thing that has, for all you guys that want us to talk about the, well, you know what? Let's flip the script for just a little bit here. I was going to talk about one thing. Now, let's go ahead and keep it in the UK, all right, and not talk about Wuhan virus for just a second, okay? Because this is an issue that Jeff and I both just find annoying and irritating. I've started to do a hashtag PC kills, political correctness kills. And it does. It kills people. It destroys lives. And Mr. Dellingpole, who's a contributor to Breitbart, did a very nice piece on the 25th of February, which we hadn't gotten to until now. That is 4 minutes long. It's a little over 4 minutes. And it has to do with quote-unquote woke culture and how the BBC sees it, particularly the head of the BBC drama. And, Jeff, if you want to check the chat roll one more time, I will go ahead.
I certainly will, Dave.
And
Just give me a second, brother. Let me get back there.
all right.
Okay,
There we
yes,
go.
we have got a great gentleman in the chat.
Okay.
That's our very own COG. Good to have you here, COG. God bless you, mate. I hope you're keeping well. So there you go, Dave. Thank you, COG, for joining us.
All right, yeah, Cog. Thank you for joining us, my friend. We appreciate you. So that's one, and welcome to the chat. Now, guys, this is going to be just over 4 minutes long, and this is a good idea here. And this stuff is going on, Americans. This stuff is going on in Hollywood too, as you know. But it gives you also an insight into the thinking of some of these idiots that are in charge of too much of our mass entertainment now. Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and roll this. You guys are listening to the English Defense League radio show. Here you go. This is from Breitbart from the 25th of last month. And Mr. Dellingpole.
Dellingpole, Going Woke is a Moral Duty, insists BBC Head of Drama, by James Dellingpole on February 25, 2020. Woke is not a dirty word but a moral duty, says a senior BBC editor, defending the corporation's decision to repurpose classic novels by giving them more black, female and Asian characters even when this is historically inaccurate. The remarks, by the BBC's head of drama Piers Wenger, will confirm what many viewers have long suspected, that the BBC isn't interested in making quality programming anymore, only in enforcing the politically correct obsessions, equality, diversity, etc., of the narrow, metropolitan liberal elite. Wenger was speaking at the launch of the BBC's new drama season, whose highlights include an adaptation of Black and White, a novel for teenagers by Mallory Blackman about a world where the ruling class's black and whites are the victim of racism. Among the BBC's recent woke adaptations have been War of the Worlds, where a minor female character replaces a male as the lead, A Christmas Carol, where Bob Cratchit has a mixed-race family and Scrooge blackmails Mrs. Cratchit for sex, Les Miserables, set in 1830s France, where the French police inspector Javert is black, and various Agatha Christie adaptations, again abundant with historically implausible casting and heavy-handed left-wing editorializing. Wenger insisted that this is a good thing, not a bad thing. We're repurposing them for a contemporary audience, and they need to speak to a contemporary audience and represent a contemporary world, as well as being stories set in the past. That's the point of adaptation. According to the Telegraph, he said, I really object when I hear the word woke used in a pejorative way, because what does woke really mean? If it means quality being important and fair representation being important, then, yes, absolutely, that's important to me. Whether that is what woke means, I don't really know, but I do think equality, representation, portrayal and diversity are things that matter hugely to the BBC, and we would be in dereliction of our duty if we didn't own those particular initiatives. Quite how woke is synonymous with quality Wenger could not explain, probably because the two concepts are antithetical. Either you can choose to make your dramas as historically accurate, realistic, and compelling as possible with the most suitable actors cast to give the best performances possible. Or you can reimagine the story, reinvent history and parcel out the roles on diversity, gender and equality lines, and hope that your audience are more interested in social justice than they are in quality. But you can't do both. The Doctor Who franchise has tested this notion to destruction, losing audiences hand over fist and squeezing every last bit of life out of its own brand by turning every episode into a politically correct lecture. After too many episodes ramming down their throats that racism is wrong, the British Empire was bad, homosexuality is great, Victorian history looked like one great big United Colors of Benetton advert, and that a female doctor is better than a white male one, the series' viewers have been abandoning it in their droves. Wenger himself, of course, cannot see what the problem is. I worked on Doctor Who myself and produced it for many years, and I can honestly say I don't think it has been in better health editorially. I think it's fantastic and the production values have never been better. It's an incredibly important show for young audiences, still watched by families in a world where there are fewer and fewer shows that have the power to do that. So it will always be an important show for us, and I think we're a very long way from wanting to rest it. If nothing else, you do have to admire the BBC for its unflinching commitment to woke values. Despite losing audiences and being threatened by the government with being denied its state-enforced compulsory income stream, the hated license fee, the BBC is determined to go down fighting. Right to the bitter end, for the left-wing causes it cherishes and which the vast majority of its audience loathes.
Yeah, well said. The sooner we get rid of this perverted, warped BBC establishment and we pull down that disgusting statue outside that building, the better for us and for the world, because that is what it's become. It's a pit. It's disgusting. And Dave, back to you. I'm going to have to call back in. And Charlie's getting really noisy tonight. But Dave, let me pass it back to you, because I know you've got some thoughts on this place as well, haven't you, mate?
I certainly have, Jeff, yes. Wow, this really is just amazing to listen to the mindset of these people. And yes, guys, Jeff's going to call back in, and he'll be right back with us. It really is amazing to listen to them. They actually call making inaccurate, historically based entertainment as quality. It's somehow quality to include people of differing races and with differing, let's just say it, lifestyles into these historical perspectives where they didn't even need to be before. I think there was a movie, the movie Dunkirk. All right, and there was it was a Muslim or something or other in that movie, and there were none of them at Dunkirk, but it didn't seem to matter to these people. As long as it's politically correct, they love it and they want to do it, and they want to try and rewrite history. No, history is history. History happened the way it happened. All right, You didn't have, for instance, in the London fire of 1666, you didn't have people running around calling the fire brigade with cell phones. Okay, I mean, you might as well do that. I mean, if you're going to go, an inch, you might as well just go ahead and go the mile and turn it completely ridiculous. All right, there's that, and then there's, of course, you guys who have listened to me very long know I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Again, in the 1980s, if after Tom Baker left the show, they had put a woman doctor in, I don't think anybody would have minded. And a lot of people, including myself, would have thought it would have been a bit of a giggle. I think they would have done it well back then. But now it's just turned into, we're going to shove a woman doctor down your throat and make all of these episodes some kind of left-wing lecture and everything, and just suck all of the fun out of a fun show. The BBC is forgetting about fun. The people who run it are forgetting about fun. They're thinking about canceling. Jeff, we did a story earlier on about this. I think the show was called Brainiac or Big Brains or something or other. It was like a game show or something that older people liked, and they were thinking about canceling it just because older people liked it and younger people didn't. Not because it got low ratings, but just because the quote unquote woke generation weren't into it. I mean, come on, that's disgusting. You're supposed to be there as an entertainment organization to entertain, and yes, I understand that they also do news, and they're supposed to do news as well. But they've completely politicized this. It's become a complete government organ, and I'm not going to say which organ it is, but I think a lot of people can guess which organ it is. And, yeah, it's completely disgusting. I agree with Mr. Dellingpole and with you, Jeff. Yeah, I honestly think that metaphorically speaking, metaphorically only, that, yeah, the BBC has got to go. Just burn the whole bloody place to the ground. What do you think, brother?
Well, I would agree with you. I would say that the whole place needs to be bulldozed, and there should be a monument to all the poor children that suffered under the hands of Jimmy Savile and that which many in that building has committed over the years. And that's what it should be. It should be a memorial to children that was used and abused over the years of this disgusting thing called the BBC. How many years it's been going on? We don't really know, but we know it's been going on a lot longer than even Jimmy Savile, don't we, Dave? We know that. So this has been going on a long time, and it's like any darkness. The light shines on the darkness, and in the end, it implodes on itself. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we are starting to see, the beginning of the end of this dirty, disgusting, low-life, whatever you want to call it, though. There's no words I can think to express myself of what's gone on in that building over these years. Disgusting, mate.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, we're going to switch over now to talking about the Wuhan. Well, about things revolving around the Wuhan virus, not the Wuhan virus itself, but as you guys know, okay, Jeff actually. Let's talk for a moment about the Wuhan virus in the UK, because there is some news involving pensioners in the UK that you can impart. And please go ahead and inform folks what you've heard and things like that.
Well, it's been in the headlines in the last day or so that with emergency powers, well, under the War Act, and I can't remember the date of what it is, but the War Act that they're trying to bring in, that old age pensions over 70 and people with, underlying conditions have got to basically segregate, well, what's the word, Dave? Put themselves within their own confines for, now we hear, over 4 months, guys. That is what they are thinking of bringing in. And, of course, something else we've heard, that the troops will be brought in to make sure that things go, the supply chains, etc., the things that you do when emergency things go into effect will come about. This is what we hear. It's all over the newspapers, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're... and of course, and also something else that was rather, I find it rather sinister, that say there was there's an old age pensioner stepped out their house and maybe walked to the end of the road. The police will have the powers to arrest the person and take them into confinement somewhere. Now that is very nefarious and very sinister, especially towards... I mean, sometimes these old people, you've got to remember some of them maybe be suffering from dementia or something like that. You've got to remember that a lot of these are not young people anymore. And it's so easy to fall into, doing something that you normally would never do, break any laws like most of them have never done. They've served their country, they fought in wars, and to find all of a sudden you've been arrested and taken or taken somewhere, would actually petrify a lot of these people. But that is how bad this government is looking at things in this country. And it is. It's very alarming, very, very worrying. I mean, I will say to people, just keep you calm. We will get through this. And a lot of our old age pensioners, you've been through bad things before. We as a people, as a nation, have always used to being able to put up with things that come upon us, and we've got to deal with it the best way we know. And we're the best when it comes to it. When we all come together and we look out for each other, we're like the Americans. We know how to look after our own. So I just hope that does come to pass. And my thoughts and prayers are with people out there who has got certain conditions and maybe have been diagnosed with the COVID-19. But we will get by. We get by. We always do. and we'll come through it. We got to, haven't we, Dave? You know. But as I say, I will still say to everybody out there, yes, the times are going to be a little bit. Well, look at this. I mean, if you like your football like I do and things like that, that's all stopped. In fact, I've heard the Premier games now be finished, but their season's over till at least next year. And that's most of the sporting events that's played in this country. It's probably the same in the United States as well, Dave. We're not sure. We're just seeing how things are unfolding from day to day. Unfortunately, we have, the last I heard, there was 21 people had succumbed to this COVID-19, and we got well over 1,097. And I'll probably be wrong, Dave, because you never know. This fluctuates, goes up, and all of a sudden there's a big wham in for you know. You've got another 400 or 500 people. So we don't know how this is going to pan out. But I would just say, I know it's very difficult to say, but try to keep calm. And you know, you've got people that love you around you. You know, neighbours, good neighbours who know that you might be having issues. I'm sure they will come together and will help. You know, people like myself, because I'm in that category. I won't be able to go out, guys. Yeah, me. I'm going to be happen to be in my own confines, but we'll get by. We'll get by, and I'll come on the show week in, week out, and we'll talk about it. We'll have an update, and you know, and see how things go, because that's what we do. That's what I want to do. So yeah, Dave, back to you.
All right, Jeff. Well, I just wanted people, because I know that for a few shows we've talked about stuff going on in the U.S. with the Wuhan virus and everything, and I just wanted people to get a bit of an update, especially with the new things that have been enacted over in the U.K. Of how things are going there. Of course, you know, and you know, we're going to be talking about snakes in regard to the political snakes that are taking advantage of the Wuhan virus over here. But the other thing that I think, and I'm sure this is going to happen in the UK too, I've already heard about it happening in the States, is there are now volunteers that are getting together, and they're you know, getting together care packages and food and whatnots and everything, and you know, preparing to visit the elderly and people who are in need, and deliver things to them. You know, maybe visit them for a few minutes, let them know that people haven't forgotten about them. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen in the UK. I'm positive that it's going to happen in the UK, because that's how people in our civilized countries with our Judeo-Christian values roll, Jeff. I know it's going to happen in the UK as well. And yeah, you're right. We will get through this, man. We will get through this.
And that is it for this time. Next time, Part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2020. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York. The Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
This is Shannon Wright.
And this is Michael Wright.
Reminding you to listen
to The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Every Monday through Thursday.
7 to 9 a.m.
Right here on shrmedia.com.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense Elite radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The dream deferred is real. You've been waiting for the Exceptional Conservative Network, and now it's here. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Tune in and get the best in urban conservative talk. Stop dreaming. It's real.